Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our ACCA webinar on SBL for March 2022 attempt. My name is Sir Hasan Dossani, and how are you guys doing tonight? If you can see me and hear me clearly, please can you type yes in the question box? Very good. Good to see you guys. Excellent. Thank you, Maham. So, while we are waiting for some other students to join, please can I request you that you have your question paper ready with you. This is TT for you, March 2020 attempt, and your blank workspace, the one which we were using yesterday. So we'll just wait for 2 more minutes to give a little benefit of doubt. So tell me, while we are waiting, how many of you practiced yourself the one which we did yesterday? So we did question number 1A and 1B yesterday. So did you guys did some practice on your own? Very good, Maham. Yes, Zarif, I can see your comments, but where is your question? I don't see your question. Zarif is saying hello. Yes, I can see you, boy. Yes. So I just want to remind all of you that this question TT for you is in fact the most difficult question of your SBL exams, right? So number one, you guys were doing the techniques for the first time yesterday. Number two, this question is in itself is one of the most difficult papers. So obviously on the first day, it will cause you some problem. But do not reduce your confidence. And the more we'll do, the more hang you'll get of it. All right. So just keep in mind, this is one of the most difficult paper. So even if you are understanding 50%, that's pretty good. You got me? This is one of those questions which I never encourage students to do on their own, right? So you can understand the level of difficulty. So it's all right. I mean, if just you need to understand the approach and probably 50% of what's going on. Does it make sense? I can see, Amanullah, your comments. Yeah, just I can see all the comments. Okay, so let us start now. Huh? Right, so again, a huge welcome to all of you on our day 3 webinar. And that's a little bit of my introduction for students who are joining us tonight for the first time. My name is Hasan Dossani, and I have been teaching for last 20 years, and this is my 7th SBL webinar, and that is my WhatsApp number in case you want to get in touch with me. I also manage a SBL WhatsApp group globally, so if you want to be added to that group, please send a request on this WhatsApp number and we will send you the link to this global group. Even I request the admin of this webinar to share the link every 15 minutes on the question answer box so that you can also directly join from there. How to ask questions? You can type your questions in the question box, and I occasionally stop and look at the question box, but make sure that your question should relate to the slides or topic under discussion. Any general questions, I would be happy to answer in the last 10 minutes. Here, the paper which we are doing is March 2020. It is called TT4U. And these were the topics. So yesterday we talked about this one, analyze main risks. Remember yesterday? So we talked about strategic risks and operational risks and technological risks, intellectual risks, reputational, all those things. Then the second question we did yesterday was to evaluate the two options. And it was pretty straightforward, the pros and cons of the options. Today, we will attempt question number 1C and full question number 3 today. Okay, 1C, which is remaining from yesterday, and question number 3. Since you are a fresh mind, I would like to start with question number 3. And then if time permits, we will then move to question number 1C. Question 3 is most difficult of this paper. Question 1C is easy. So I want to start with the difficult thing because we are fresh right now. So let's go to question number 3. Let me go down here. So let's read the question. Question number 3 here. So remember, every question has how many components? There are 3 components. One is the background, then the technical requirement, and followed by professional skills. Again, the background, the technical requirement, and the professional skills. So let's read the background here. The Chief Executive Officer believes that TT4U's current structure will have to change if TT4U is to introduce the new Myobit approach to client relationship successfully. Okay, there is some new Myobit approach. If they want to implement that, then they will need to amend the current structure, right? The Chief Executive Officer knows that she must take ownership of the transformation. Obviously, she is the head of the organization. She needs to lead all major changes affecting the entire organization. She feels, however, that she needs guidance on the transformation process and how she should lead this process, including communicating the need for change to employees. So she needs some help, some guidance from us. So we are external consultant and she wants to, seek some help from us. Required. Prepare an email for the CEO which advises her on the responsibilities and activities involved in preparing for and implementing the transformation of TT4U effectively. Advises her on responsibilities, that's one bit, and activities required to implement that. Okay, 10 marks. Interestingly, there is no professional marks for part A. You see, there is no professional marks mentioned here. This professional marks is for part B. Okay, so part A does not have any professional marks. It happens sometimes, but not usual, but sometimes it happens. So we have to advise her on the responsibilities and activities involved in preparing and implementing the transformation. Prepare a letter to all employees which will be signed by CEO explaining the benefits of the Myobit approach for TT4U and its employees, and the main changes to team structures and behaviors below the board level, which the new Myobit approach will require. Professional marks are available for demonstrating communication skills. So your language, your tone, your role in persuading employees of the benefits for adopting the new approach. Okay, straightforward. So the third thing is the chairman wants the board to be briefed on aspects of corporate governance which need to change if the new Myobit approach is to be introduced. Prepare briefing notes which advises the board on the changes required to the membership of the board and the information supplied to the board. Professional marks are available for demonstrating commercial acumen skill in identifying changes to the membership of the board and the information supplied which are realistic for TT4U and will generate better relationships. Okay, so we just identify the changes to the board and we will score this. So this is the most difficult question. So you see this word Myobit approach, Myobit approach, Myobit approach. A lot of students asks me, sir, what is this Myobit approach? Which model is this? We have not studied this model. Oh my God, how will I do this question? Boys and girls, there is no such thing called Myobit approach. There is no model called Myobit approach. This Myobit approach is an imaginary model created by the examiner for this paper. You can call it Angelina Jolie approach. You can call it Jackie Chan approach. I don't give a shit. You see, so what the examiner, so forget about the fact that you have not studied the syllabus. Even I don't know what this Myobit approach is. Something to do with bed, double bed, single bed, I don't know. My bed. So don't sweat about these things. What the examiner wants to see is whether you are getting confused or you are able to talk logical, general stuff. Is this clear? Right. So first of all, prepare an email for the CEO which advises her on the responsibilities and activities involved in preparing and implementing the transformation. Let's go to our workspace. We have our workspace somewhere. Yeah. Remember this we did. Let's go down to question number 3 and let's see what information we have gathered from the scenario. Okay. So I would like to read these points so that I can recall the points. So these are some points which we gathered from yesterday's reading. TT4U CEO believes, no, sorry, 3A, yeah. TT4U CEO believes that TT4U needs to undergo an internal transformation in order to be able to retain current clients and deliver the expansion required to obtain a full listing. She believes that the company's current structures are now insufficient to respond quickly to the changes in the external environment and meet clients' evolving demands. So, do you think this is kind of an advantage that we are able to retain clients and deliver the expansion? That this is an advantage of Myobit, that we, if we apply Myobit, we will be able to retain clients and deliver the expansions, like we will be able to grow. And she also believes that our current structures are insufficient to respond quickly. So if we adopt Myobit, maybe we are able to respond quickly. So can we turn this paragraph, reword it so that it sounds like the advantages? Is it possible? Yes, no? Okay. So guys who have joined late, we are doing a full-fledged case study called TT4U. You can download that paper from ACCA's website, March 2020 attempt. Right. So this paragraph is more of an advantages. Are we supposed to talk about advantages somewhere? I think 3B talks about the benefits of implementing. So I will use this paragraph under the benefits. What about this one? Recent client survey. I'm very much regret that we haven't carried out a survey like this for some time. For me, it highlights the need to transform our business to bring our clients much closer to us. Again, one of the advantage. Right, right. So I'll just use them as. So now we have to talk about prepare an email which advises her on the responsibilities. Right. So this Myobit approach looks pretty serious, right? The CEO feels that if we want to grow, if we want to be more responsive to blah, 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 if we want our customers to come more closer to us, we have to implement this. So does it sound serious, or is it a casual move? What do you think? It's a company-wide serious thing, right? Yeah. So you think the anything which is major, which affects most part of the organizations, who should lead it? Anything which is major and affects almost the entire organization, who should be the right person to lead it? The CEO, right? And maybe the board of directors and the CEO together. So yeah, the chairman, basically the chairman in this case is a non-executive person. A non-executive director is someone who doesn't get salaries, right? So we should not expect, but executive director, the board in general, the CEO most. So don't you think it should be the responsibility of the CEO to lead this, simply because A, it's a major thing, B, it affects all parts of the organizations, the employees, the customers, and the clients, right? So would you be able to draft one or two small paragraphs explaining to the CEO about her responsibility? Okay, so that's one bit of the requirement, which advises her on the responsibilities and activities involved in preparing. So now she also needs us to advise her what steps she should take, or what steps are needed for her to implement this change or transformation in her business. So guys, let's do some brainstorming. Let me know what steps you think should be needed if you are the CEO and you need to implement? Yeah, I think it's a little bit general, but we will try to link it with the case. But right now, I'm just brainstorming with you guys. So, what steps would you take if you are the CEO and you need to implement something across the board? What is the first thing you will do? Awareness. Okay, I'm just reading your comment. Communicate with the employees, very good. Awareness of the benefits, very good. Involve the employees, inform the staff, freeze, unfreeze. I know that's a model. Need to explain the benefit, market research, consultation, discuss with the boards, motivate the employees, educate the staff. How would you implement it? Like, this is planning part. How about training? Yeah, then you need to first you communicate, everybody is ready, then you plan the implementation like a kind of a project management. Then we will train the employees, and uh, then we will roll out, and then we will monitor that people are. We will monitor the impact, the changes slowly, gradually. We will change the culture. We will lead from the top. Pilot run. Oh, excellent. So if I ask you this in general, you are all able to answer me. These are all common sense, general, logical points that if I am the CEO and if I want to implement Angelina Jolie approach, first I will analyze, I will first understand myself, I will plan, I will then involve the board, then we will try and communicate with the employees, we will maybe hire a consultant to help us implement this. We will train the people. We will monitor. Yes, Kemi. Kemi is saying because there is no stress, because there is no tension, we are able to think. Is that true, people? Do you agree with Kemi? Kemi is saying because right now we are relaxed, we are able to think logically. Absolutely, absolutely. But when you are under exam situation, stressed out, time pressure, and you see this kind of a thing which is called Myobit approach, my foot, you will just you understand. So this SBL paper is basically a test of your nerves, of how well can you think under pressure situation. It is not a test of your syllabus or your concept. It is a test of how you can think logically under a stressful situation. So you think a CFO must have this skill? You think a CFO should be able to think logically under a stressful situation? This is why we get $20,000 a month. That's my salary. Why would anybody pay me $20,000 a month? Because we all have some wisdom and we are able to think under complex and stressful situations, right? So this is what you have to do as well. And the more you will practice, how will you learn this? The more you will practice, the more comfortable you will get. You might not get 100% good at it, but at least you will get more comfortable, right? So if supposing if we do this question properly and you remember all this discussion and in your March paper something similar comes, don't you think you will be able to handle it at least 50-60% better? Right. So whatever we practice, try to memorize it. so that you can always, if you face a similar question, you can always try and apply the same approach and learning. That's the purpose of practice. Okay. The second thing, the one which we talked about, that planning and communication and implementing and training, that is a general approach, common sense approach. There is one other approach you can also adopt. It is called it is a model called context of change. Okay. So change management is part of your syllabus. And the whole idea or the whole meaning of change management is this kind of a thing, that if you are planning to implement something new, what are the steps? So context of change model is a model which tells us what are the steps which the change manager needs to do in order to successfully implement a change. So this is change, like she's trying to transformation. She's trying to bring a new approach. She's trying to transform the company. So it is change. They did not use the word change, but they used the word transform. Transform means change, right? You can also apply the changed model, context of change model, or you can also adopt the simple approach which we talked about. So let me quickly explain to you this model and we'll see how it works. So as per this model, there are several things which needs to be analyzed by the change manager. Who is the change manager? In this case, it is the CEO who is taking the responsibility, right? So she is leading. She is the change manager. First thing, she has to understand what is the scope of the change. Scope of the change means the size of the change. Okay, scope of the change simply means size of the change. Is it a small change or is it a big change? Right? Theoretically, a small change is easy to implement, and a big change, the more bigger it gets, the more difficult it becomes. So small change easy to implement, significant change difficult to implement, obviously. So scope of change. If it is a small change, it is called realignment. And if it is a big change, it is called transformation. So you see the word transformation, it is part of this model. And in this case, the CEO is calling it transformation. The requirement says transformation. So obviously she thinks it's a big change, and I think she's right, because it is basically affecting the entire organization. It is affecting the mindset, the culture, the business, the clients. It is a big change. The first thing you need to talk about is scope of change. The second thing you need to know is the reason of the change, that the CEO must be very clear why she is doing this change. What's the reason, or what's the advantages? She needs to be very clear, because any change, any transformation without having a convincing reason will flop. Reason has to be solid. Then the timing. Timing means the speed of the change, how soon or how slowly we want it. Sometimes the change can be urgent. It's overnight, it's immediate. And sometimes we have the time, we can adopt, go slowly and gradually. So if you implement something immediately, it's called big bang. If you implement something slowly, gradually, it is called incremental. Any questions so far? Okay. So I'm just simplifying this model for you. Then we talk about capacity and resources. Capacity means, does the organization has the required resources to implement this change, like human resource, financial resource, technology? The CEO, I think, needs to think about all this, right? Just saying we need to implement is not enough. Then she need to understand what kind of expertise, resources, human resource, or financial resource, or whatever resources would be required to implement this change. She needs to arrange all those things. Hmm? That's called capacity. Capability means, has the organization implemented such change in the past, or is it their first time? So what do you think? So, okay, let's apply this model in context of this scenario. So the scope of the change, what do you think is the scope of this change of Myobit? Is it a small change or a big change? Please type your answer. Big change. Why do you think it's a big change? You have to justify, right? Why you think it's a big change? Reason. Why you think it's a big change? Because it's affecting the entire organization, it's affecting the employees, it's affecting the customers, it's affecting the culture. Very good, very good. Simple, right? Very good. So it's transformation. Done. Reason. Can anybody tell me why? What should be the reason why the CEO is doing this? One or two high level reason, and I think we read the reasons. The benefit, it will help us to grow, it will help us bring our clients more closer to me. We can pick up the reason from the case, right? For growth, for better client service. The client survey was very bad. For winning new contracts. Efficiency, Zarif, I did not see the word efficiency, but okay. You need to pick words from the exhibits. Okay, poor customer service, very good. Right, so reason, two-liner. Timing. Do we need to do it overnight urgently, or we can do it properly in a structured, incremental, step-by-step manner? What do you suggest? If you are the CEO, you will do urgently or incremental? Okay, so there is one person who said urgently, Manjima. Another person is saying, Lohit is saying urgently. Ikhlas is saying urgently. What's the urgency? Why do you want to do urgent? So remember, if the more urgent the change, the more difficult it gets. And if it's more slowly, gradually, it's easier and more controlled, right? Obviously, if we have to do something urgently, it becomes difficult. So what is the urgency here? Yeah, question box. By urgent, we mean overnight. Okay. So I don't think this is really urgent, because we are not crashing, we are not dying. Yes, it is important, we have to do it, but should it be done next week? No, it's a big change. No need to cause panic, but at least we do it in the next 3 months. Okay. So whatever your argument, there is no one right answer. If you say it's urgent, then you explain that, competitors, we will soon lose markets. If you think it's incremental, you will say that it's not really urgent, but it should be done like incremental, but soon. Okay, I think you understand. Capacity. Best, you think the CEO needs to know what resources are required? I mean, I don't know. We need to understand uh, this model and whatever, and if there's any technological or financial or human resource required, then the CEO needs to arrange all those, right? So it's a general point. Capability. Has the organization implemented such change in the past, or is it the first time? Tell me, what do you think? Has the CEO implemented this in the past as well, or is it her first time that she's implementing Myobit approach? First time. So which one is better, implementing first time or having experience from before? Yeah, obviously, if we have prior experience, that's good. But if you are doing it for the first time, then it's a slightly relatively difficult. So we'll tell her that, listen, this is for the first time you guys are implementing Myobit. You don't have any idea, you don't have any prior experience. So what do you suggest? What should she do now? Can she consult? Yeah, she can. She appoint a consultant, maybe a person who can she train? Yeah, she can take some training herself. She can appoint or hire a consultant who is an expert. Very good, very good. That's it. No lengthy stories. Common sense points. Power. Power means that the change manager should have sufficient power and authority to implement the decisions. So in this case, who's the change manager? The CEO. So obviously, I think by virtue of her designation as CEO, she must carry the required power. So nothing to worry about in this case, right? She has the power because she is the CEO. That preservation. Preservation means strengths from existing environments needs to be retained. That, if you are bringing something new and there are problems in the existing structure, that's fine. But there may be one or two good points in the existing structure. So make sure those are retained. So in this case, I don't know what the advantage, let's leave this out. Readiness. She has to make sure that all the employees are ready, right? How can she make sure that all the employees are ready? Any idea? Survey? No. Communication, active communication, motivation, training, convincing, all these simple things to make sure that people are excited, they are looking forward to it. If people can see the advantages for them, they will grab this, right? And finally, resistance. So whatever you do, there will be few people who will always resist. You can't avoid that, right? So then she has to make sure, she has to take care of people who are resisting. She cannot leave them unattended, right? Because then they will try to cause damage and demotivation to others. They will do bad mouthing. So people who are still resisting, she needs to monitor them, she needs to talk to them, she needs to warn them or whatever, so that they don't cause trouble. So again, this is a very simple model which tells us some points that before implementing any change, we should think through, as a change manager, we should think through these points. So you have got two options for part A. But can anybody remind me about the marks? What is the marks? Ah, how many points? 5 points, in which we have to talk about the responsibilities as well as the activities. So maybe 1 point on the responsibility, so 4 points on the activities. So either you can apply some points from this model, like some of the important points, that's 4 points, or you can adopt a general approach of by saying that you analyze, you communicate, you train, you monitor. Both is equally okay. Okay, any questions? Please, can you quickly, what's the format here? Prepare an email for the chief executive which advises her on the responsibilities and activities. Please, can you quickly prepare the email format? I want to see. The format should be very good because there is communication skills generally. So prepare an email which advises her on the responsibility. Your time starts now. Do we know the name of the CEO? I don't think so. I'm done. Please compare your format with mine. Did you put this big heading in center called email? Then to CEO, I don't know whether we have the name or not. From our role is subfield consultant. Subject is transformation, just a simple subject. Date is 8 March. Salutation, dear CEO. Opening sentence, this email, and then I copy paste it from here. Advises on the activities. And then, did you give this closure? Matched. Now, this sentence is entirely incorrect. I will lose marks here. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this? I just copy pasted from the requirement. So what the hell is wrong with this? Advises her is wrong. So what's wrong in that? Yes. Yes, very smart. So these are small things which this email advises you on the responsibilities and activities involved in preparing and implementing the transformation of TT4U effect. This advises you because we are now addressing email to the CEO herself. So now the next heading is responsibilities and then followed by activities. These are the two broad headings. So now can you draft like one paragraph explaining her responsibility? This is what we just discussed, right? Why do you think the CEO should be responsible for this? Why she should lead and not the CFO or the IT head? Some simple, plain English with some stupid logic. Can you guys read it? Anything technical? The transformation process is a major activity as it affects the entire organization. Also, it affects your clients and employees. Hence, something of this level should be led by the senior most person in the organization, such as yourself, and the board should support you in this respect. Alas, any problem? So we just talked about the responsibility that it should be your responsibility. Very good, Amir. No, at last you are saying we say that it is responsible of the CEO to run the company, so that means that she should do everything? No. Why she should do this? Because it's a major thing. The only CEO gets involved in major things. So you need to use the word major, significant across the company. Can we write dear in email, Fatima? Excuse me, you are saying can we write dear in email? Why not? Who tells you all these things that you cannot write dear in email with? Come on. I even write, I can show you my emails. This is my company's laptop I'm using right now. I write, I write to my CEO like, hi, what's wrong in the web? Well, I don't want to show my company email, so I'll close it out. So no problem, okay. Now activities. So either you can adopt the general approach that I would say that following key activities needs to be done in order to implement the Myobit approach. What do you think? Analyze, plan, communicate, train, implement, monitor. One, give a heading, or you can just give small paragraphs, or you can adopt the model called scope, the reasoning, timing, capacity, capability. Timing. That's it. Resources, capacity. What should I write? Enough, I think. One more, because I'm giving small point readiness. Guys, if you are reading, you would agree that I am using simple language, not talking too much, giving basic guidance to the CEO that, okay, this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. That's it. That's the whole approach of drafting. Small logical points, okay? For 10 marks, I think we've done enough 1 year, and then we gave small 5 or 6 points. That's it. Questions, please. Okay, it's capability, not capacity. My mistake. I will correct it. Amir, unfreeze, change, refreeze. How would you explain this to the CEO? You need to talk in respect of this approach. You don't need to tell the model, right? So I'm explaining the steps, not the model. Is this enough for 10 marks? Maham, this is more than enough, because for 10 marks you have 18 minutes. So, more than enough. I cannot show the simple way because I have some time limitations. A simple way would be, I just give you the headings, right? Analyze, plan, um, train, communicate, implement, monitor. These will be your heading, and one liner explaining what you mean by analyze. Analyze means that you need to study the Myobit approach and make sure that you understand it. Communicate means that you need to communicate the advantages to all the employees, why it is done, how it will be done, when it will be done. Training means that you have to make sure that all the employees are trained so that when it is implemented, they know what to do. Simple common sense, right? I think we have not referred to the allot exhibit. Allot, yes, you are right. We have not referred to the exhibit. We just talked about by using company's name and some company's background because we didn't have so much information. Sometimes there are questions where there is not a lot of information, but you just talk general, but in context of that company, not theoretical. I'm talking logical points, but in context of that entity. Yes, Zahur, you are right. No, Monip, we are referring. What makes you think that we are not referring? Every paragraph I'm referring. TT for you, it's not urgent. TT for you, you need to identify Myobit approach. You need to train your employees. This is not general, my friend. I'm linking with the scenario in the context. Okay. Hey, where are you? What happened? Just a minute, guys. I don't see the question box. Yeah. All right, done. I think we spent a lot of time. It's already 1 hour. Hmm? Yes, SBL is not from book, my friend. Yes, you can do that, Tuba. All right, let's move on. Let's move to the difficult part. Let's read the question. In this question, part B is more difficult. This one. It is how many marks? 13 marks. Divide by 2. How many points? 6 to 7 points between these two. So what do we want? It says we need to talk about the benefits of implementing the Myobit approach for TT4U and its employees, benefits, and the main changes to the team structures and behaviors. Most difficult part, Myobit approach. So let me look at what notes we have. Let me just finish this one. All right, so these are some of the advantages we had. So look, oh, there's an exhibit 2 which we have to read. And then the approach, let me bring this here down. Oops. Okay, so what are the points we have? First one is TT4Us believe there needs to undergo an internal transformation in order to be able to retain clients and deliver expansion. This is one of the advantage, able to retain clients and deliver expansion. Okay, another advantage is that she believes that the company's current structure are now insufficient. Okay, let's read the one. The approach is based on building open and sharing relationship with clients that help them create new sources of value for their business. This is a benefit for the clients. I shall also be looking to how we operate as a board. 3 directors currently combined board. This is not leading to the board, not required. This is a model which we have started, but it may not be appropriate. I will also want to look at the way TT for you is structured as a whole. I think we ought to be much more of a matrix organization, which should result in better communication and mutual learning. Interesting. We have to be a matrix organization. I don't know what that means, but what about this? I know staffs are told not to sit at the same desk each day, but to sit at different desks next to the different people. However, we all know that the three teams, what three teams? I think they are three teams, right? Small business teams, large business teams, and government work in the same areas, each day separate from each. So that the three teams, they don't talk to each other. That's what I understand. So they have three teams. They want them to change places, but every day the three teams, they sit together in their own desk. So I think the three teams are not communicating or talking to each other. Client service remains problems. Our survey shows that the consultants who are responsive, who use business approaches of mutual development, largest. This is the advantage. So advantage. So we've got some advantages here. One or two, three advantages, and we know something about the teams. This is what is required, right? The benefits and the main changes to the team structures. Let's read Exhibit 2 before we start drafting. Exhibit 2. Oh, it's a very small one. Summary of the Myobit client approach devised by Business Tomorrow magazine. Myobit means mission-driven, interactive, empowering, open, boundaryless, ethical, data-focused. Mission-driven means driving strategy and attracting clients by a strong mission. Bullshit. Interactive means participation of client stakeholders, enhancing our organization and theirs. So we need to interact more with our clients. Are we interacting with our clients? Any idea? What do you think? Are we responsive? Are we communicating? Are we replying to their emails and phone calls and take proactive? Yes, no? Do you remember yesterday's survey? Yeah, so I think we have very bad survey client feedback, and the baddest thing was that we are not responding. Let's look at the survey. Responsiveness. Most bad score is responsiveness. Emails never answered. This needs to change, right? So interactive means we have to be more interactive. Empowering, enabling clients to realize personal and organizational potential. We have to empower. Open, building on the knowledge. Are we open? Are the teams open? Means that we communicate with each other, we are open, we share knowledge, we exchange ideas. So here we have three teams who are not talking to each other. The teams are not open. Boundaryless, taking clients, stakeholders on a journey beyond to transform operations. I have no idea what this fancy stuff is. Ethical, founding client stakeholder relationship on responsiveness, fairness, honesty, responsibility, and transparency. This is how we should treat our clients: fair, responsive, honest, responsibility, and transparency. Guys, keep this in mind because we would require this somewhere else as well. Data focus, maintaining tight security of client data. Remember this as well, huh? Last is. So this exhibit does not tell me anything, concrete. It just tell me what the Myobit stands for and one-liner definition, mission driven, blah, blah, blah. So let's move to drafting. So what's the format required? First of all, let's look at the format. Question number 3. Prepare a letter. Prepare a letter to all employees, which will be signed by the CEO, talking about the benefits of Myobit for TT4U and its employees and the main changes to the teams and behaviors. Most difficult question. So can you please prepare a letter right now? Letter to all employees. What should be a nice format? It's an internal letter. Let's start with date. Khalas. And what's the close? Second one is changes to the team closure. Okay, look at the format. You understand the format? The main heading is there in center, letter, date, addressees TT4U employees. And then, as a CEO, I'm writing, dear colleagues, subject Myobit approach. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to the benefits of implementing the Myobit approach and the main changes. This is from the copy pasted from the requirements. Benefits main subheading, changes to the team subheadings, and closure. Any questions on the format? Ahmed is saying, sir, on the right side, we have to write our details. Theoretically, yes, but this is an internal letter. So when you are writing to an external person, then on the right side, your name and address. But this is a CEO writing to our own employees. So there is no concept of address and this and that. That is why I had to slightly change the format. Okay. Now, guys, help me identify 3 to 4 advantages. I can use this here. This advantage, we can move it to the what else is there? I'm just copy pasting the advantages, putting them in the right place, and then we can draft. Done. So now we have got all the points together. Can we draft the advantages? Let's delete all these things. Help me draft some advantage. We are able to retain client and deliver the expansion required to open full listing. Okay, so the first advantage is we are able to retain clients and deliver the expansion. How can I add my own words to it? Only copy pasting is not enough, right? We need to add our own words, talk about the impact or benefit, explain why this is an advantage. How do you think this is an advantage? You're able to retain current clients and deliver the expansion required to obtain full listing. Okay. I'm just using my own words. It's important that our company is able to retain current clients and also deliver and also acquire new clients in order to grow the business, which is required to obtain full listing. The Myobit approach will help us achieve the growth Now it's done. So I just edited and added my own words. Now this sentence can we edit a bit, explain in our own words, add the, why is it a benefit? This approach is based on building open and sharing relationship with clients that help them create new sources of value for their business. So if we approach this, it will also help our clients to grow their business. If our clients prosper, they would like to stay with us or continue with us, and hence Myobit approach will help us retain more clients. So when client stays with you because you are adding value to them, obviously they will continue with us. This means retention. Okay, simple. And what about this? Our survey shows that consultants who are more responsive, who use a business approach, blah, 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 are making the largest profit. Not our survey, market studies. A market survey shows that consultants who are more responsive are making the largest profits. Myobit approach will definitely help us become more responsive to our clients. Can anybody tell me one advantage of all this to our employees? Because if you read the question, it says advantage for to TT and its employees. So I just want to put one advantage for the employees. Can you cook up something? Can you think of what the employees will benefit from all this? The common sense. Think like a CFO. Yes, it is general, Baba. It is the most difficult question of this. How tell me the employees will benefit? Can you think of any advantage for the employees? Will they learn something new? If I'm the CEO, if you are the CEO and you want to convince all these people, so number one, there are advantages to the organization, but what is in there for them? It will be a growth, learning for them. Start with the learning. Growth is secondary, right? We will say that, this is a new approach, and it will be a new learning for you. It will be a new style of working, and it will make you grow and develop you into a better professional, personal and professional growth. Empower employees. Okay. More fit employees will become more fit, competent. Yes, all of you are right. Just give one logical advantage and you are done. Rewards? No, please don't talk about rewards. You're talking like an accountant now. Reward is later on. But right now, you need to talk about the advantages to them. Are you giving them more money to adopt it? Career advancement. Okay, so that we just type uh, Khalas. I don't like lengthy stories for at least for the paper, right? So because the question wanted me to talk about advantage to employees as well, so I, you know, deliberately made sure because these three advantages were to the company. So I wanted to put one. This is why reading the requirement is very important that you don't miss out on the smaller requirements. Now you have put one point for employees, examiner is satisfied. What about this? Honestly, I have no understanding changes to the team. So I need your help here to draft something and I want to get out of it. This is one of those questions where you don't want to get stuck. You want to get out, right? So that's, I will just use some wordings from the scenario and put in my own little bit of wording. So I'm just saying that the changes, the current structures are now insufficient. And what needs to be done? I think we should try and become a matrix organization which should improve our communication and mutual learning. Any better word? Mutual learning and collective learning. Okay. We all know that the three teams sit the same area each day separate from each other. I think this is, we can bring it here. Okay, we have internet, but the lack of contribution of staff is very less. We should be communicating, contributing more frequently on company intranet so that we can share knowledge and experience. Khalas. I honestly don't. Okay, I know. I'm just joking. But if I put myself in your shoes under exam conditions, you will not know what to do. So I just told you that in this type of a question, you just tweak the wordings from the scenarios and get out of it. Your objective is to run away. But instead of keeping it blank or writing fancy imaginary stories, just stick with the facts from the exhibits, change it a bit, add one small comment here and there, and move out. Do you understand? So I did this question with the approach of winding up, not getting stuck, but getting rid of it. Some basic advantage from the scenario and just using the words like matrix structure. I don't know what a matrix structure is. I know, but you don't know. But anyways, you just use this word. Khalas. Got it? Questions? Why are we writing V in the answer? Ali Ahmed, I will shoot you. I think today is your first class. So Ali is asking, why are we writing V in the answer? How will you pass SBL, Ali, my friend? This letter is addressed to the employees. And who is it being from? CEO. We both are internal persons. Please, huh? You need to be more intelligent than this. Yes. Yes, Sunil, you're right. Ali, I know. I understood. Anyway, so did you understand that in yeah, role has changed because yeah, that in a difficult question, your objective should be get out of it, not get stuck in it. And the way to get out of it, if you remember my first day, that what to do if the answer is unknown, that you can define or you can search find. But in this case, we had certain sentences from the exhibit, so I just edited those sentences wherever I can understand. I added little points and khalas. So it's a 13 marks question. Even if I get 5 marks or 6 marks, I'm happy because it was a trap. It was a difficult question. Yeah, of course. There's a break now. So you guys understood. This was the most difficult question of this. So please, Myobit approach, my foot. There's no model called my. Forget about models. All this was just common sense. You need to be a good talker, a good salesman just to get rid of SBL. Okay, so very good, very good. Who will do this? You need a break now? Or you want to do 3C and then take a break? Let's take a break. Then we will do 3C and then we will do 1C. Okay, two. So we do two parts. We did two parts now and two parts after the break. Okay, done. So 15-minute breaks. It is 10 o'clock in Pakistan. So 10 to 10:15 p.m. break. Time starts now. Maybe. Hi guys, are you back? Shall we start? Okay. Looks good to me. Short letter. Hmm. So today we did email about transformation, responsibilities, activities, and then we did a letter talking about Myobit approach, benefits, and changes to the team. Now, let's read 3C directly from the scenario. Prepare briefing notes which advises the board on the changes required to the membership of the board and the information supplied to the board. Commercial acumen in identifying changes to the board and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Changes required to the membership of the board. Let's look at our referencing. So we had said earlier that we need to, let me remove this. We had said earlier that we need to refer to the introduction for current board structure. Okay, we will look into that. And then we found these sentences. I shall be looking at how we operate as a board. 3 directors currently combine board responsibilities with operational line management of teams. Interesting. So the 3 directors combine board responsibilities with operational responsibilities. Is this a weakness? What do you think? The 3 directors currently combine their board responsibility with operational line management. Is this a weakness, I think? You agree? Okay. Should this be changed? Okay. This is a model which we have had since we started, but it may not be appropriate anymore. Makes sense that when they were small, it was okay that the director can do the board responsibility as well as manage teams. But now, since they are growing and they want to obtain full listing, then it may not be appropriate. I also want to, so this is one weakness. Okay. I also want to look at the way TT4U is structured as a whole. I think we ought to be much more of a matrix organization. Yeah, I think we covered that in the previous portion. We need to be considering the data. Okay, so this point is about data. We need to be considering the current state of relationship with clients as an agenda item every board meeting. So the board now wants to have uh, clients as an agenda every board meeting. We have to develop key performance indicators beyond clients gained and lost each period so that we have a better idea of how we are performing in the areas blah blah blah. The board wants to see this extra information. Do you agree? The board wants to see some specific client related KPIs in every board meeting. Information supplied, we need to add that, the board should see this. What about this one? We must also consider how we are perceived in relation to our competitors, although we do have a regular report on competitors offering, but still doesn't tell us blah blah blah. So I think this is something which the board is also looking for in the next regular meetings. So these 2 points pertains to this one: information supplied to the board, changes required to the information supplied, and this one refers to what is the marks for all this, so that I can decide the number of points. Marks is how many points? 10, 13 divided by 2, 6 to 7. So I have got 2 points for here. So I need to give 4 more points for the board. So let's look at the current board structure. Let's look at the current board structure, which is exhibit introduction. Aha. The 4 consultants who initially founded the company remain on the board in key executive roles. Now, the chairman and non-executive director. They have a chairman who's a NED. NED is good. And his background, he was appointed 2 years ago. He's a partner in a large law firm. Then there is a CEO, original founder. Then there is a services director. He's original founder and he also leads the team for smaller business. Then there is a marketing director, but he also leads the team for larger business. Then there is a IT director, but he also leads the team for public sector team. Do you spot any problem from in this point, in this portion? Do you think they are doing dual roles? Like, for example, the marketing director, what's his designation? Marketing director. What is a marketing director supposed to do? What is a marketing director supposed to do? He's supposed to focus on the marketing activities of all our products, right? That's his primary job. But probably in addition to being the marketing director, he's also spending time leading the large business team. So he's doing 2 roles. He's doing the marketing role for the entire company and he's also leading a large business team. I don't think he will be able to do justice, right? Half one leg there, one leg here. Similarly, the IT director, his job is to lead the technological innovations, technological issues, manage those things. But in addition to that, he's also leading the public sector team. The services director, his job is to make sure that client services is immaculate, it's perfect. But because probably he's focusing more on other things, client's feedback is really poor. So the point here, what's my point? What am I trying to say here? Can anybody tell me? What's the weakness? Explain to me the weakness. Yes, they are doing dual role. They are being direct. Oh, come on. Don't talk like an auditor, no segregation of duties. You talk like auditors or accountants, no segregation of duty. Is that the problem? My God. So, okay. So that dual role, one is one problem. What about the finance director appointed 4 years ago? Nothing wrong with that. I'm happy. That's nothing wrong. Then there is one non-executive director appointed 2 years ago, former partner of a large accountancy firm. So Are you able to spot any issues with non-executive directors? What do you think? Is there anything wrong with only two NEDs? Okay. Only one? No, there are two NEDs. There are two NEDs. So what's wrong with two? When you are saying only two, what's wrong with two? They are insufficient, right? So NEDs are generally like 50-50. Generally, the rule of thumb is they should have equal voting or equal say. So right now, how many executive directors are there? How many executive directors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2 non-executive. So it's a board of 7 people, out of which 5 is executive and 2 are non-executive. So I think we need to add the number of NEDs for sure. It should at least be 40 to 50% of the board, right? So that's one point. Changes to the board. The first change is that we need to add more NEDs, or we can start by saying that currently there are only 2 NEDs out of a board of 7, and we need to add more number of NEDs so that they have equal voting rights and say in the business. Agreed? What is another thing wrong with NEDs? One is the quantity. No familiarity. What are you saying, familiarity? Diversity. Ah, Surya. Surya is very good. You guys have zero knowledge. Conceptually, you are weak. Theoretically, you are weak. Yes, Adil, very good. Background, Ibrahim, very good. Background, no IT background. Good, good. Gender, Bahadur, Bahadur. How do you know the gender? Is the gender mentioned here? When you are saying gender diversity, you know their genders? Stupid. Come on, man. Talk like a mature person. No, Prince, you are wrong. Anyways, the NEDs, if you look at the NEDs, one is a lawyer. He's a partner in a large law firm, so he's a lawyer. And one is a former partner of a large accounting firm, so he's an accountant or an auditor, which is good. There's no harm. But don't you think that at least one or two NEDs should be from IT industry so that they can share their experience, their ideas, what's happening in the IT world? I don't expect these lawyers and accountants to share IT related ideas. It's not their field. So I think that there's a big gap. The NEDs, while there is no harm in having law or accounting, they give some different perspective, but on simultaneously we must have one or two NEDs from the industry in which we are operating so that they understand the technicalities. No. Yeah. All right, so two weaknesses on NEDs. Number one, it is the NEDs quantity is insufficient, and number two, the NEDs, the current NEDs, they do not have any IT background or experience. So we must add. So If we are telling them to add more NEDs, then it's better that this time they hire someone from the IT industry, right? Okay, and then there is dual role. So 3 points from here, 2 points from here, 5 points. Any questions? Do you want me to draft this, or you can draft it now? Are you in a position to draft it now? You understand how to draft? You want to attempt it yourself, or do you want me to draft? No board committees? Yes, that could be a point. Board committees are generally required for listed companies. But yes, you can suggest that for them to be, if they want to prepare themselves for listed company, then they should have board committees. Okay, that's a good idea. That please, can you draft 1 point for example? Very good. Yeah, that's a good idea. I will draft 1 point, and then you can draft at the same using the same approach. But first, let's all of you make the format. What's the format required? Prepare briefing notes which advises the board of the changes. Please prepare briefing note right now with me. Time starts now. Briefing notes. Okay. My format is done. Please compare. Okay, take 30 more seconds and then I will discuss. Okay, briefing notes to the board of directors from Stubfield consultant, subject board of directors, or changes to the board of directors, whatever date is this. This briefing note advise the board on the changes required to the membership, blah, 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 blah. Two broad headings, membership and information, because the question has two components, followed by the closure. Let me pick some points. Let me pick this up. Okay, membership of the board. The first issue. Currently, 3 directors combine board responsibilities with operational line management of teams. Who are these directors? Can we give example? For example, the services director, or let's say the marketing director, is also heading the team for larger business. What's wrong in this? What's wrong in this? If they are heading, first thing, it may not be appropriate anymore because we are growing. And secondly, dual role, he will not be able to focus. Due to this dual role, the marketing director may not be able to focus on each role properly. As T4U grows, this structure may not be appropriate, hence more executive directors should be added to the board who can take or share responsibilities. Is that okay? Done. Similarly, another weakness would be that currently there are only 2 NEDs on the board of directors. This represents how much percentage? How much percentage? 2 divided by 7. 28. This represents 29% of the full board. This is on the lower side. Ideally, the number of NEDs should be 40 to 50%. Hence, TT4U needs to add more NEDs on the board. Halas. Third one, the 2 current NEDs are from lawyer and accounting backgrounds. There is no NED having IT experience, IT background. Hands, or what's wrong with IT? Having TT for you should add NEDs with IT background so that they can share their experience and knowledge to help the business grow. Alas, we can also want to add that once there are sufficient number of EDs and NEDs, then PT or you may consider having board committees such as risk committee, audit committee, etc. Perfect answer. Love you. So simple. Questions, please. Yes, Hamza, yes. Yes, Susanna, that's also fine. But do you understand how you can simplify stuff? Stick to the information in the exhibit, explain that, explain the impact, and move on. Similarly, for information of the board, you can have these 2 points. You can kind of put this 2 points here. One is the client data, one is the data on competitors, and done. Closure. I want you to draft this yourself later on. Any questions? Yes, Jitesh, because we don't have any other information. Sir, CEO and chairman, what's wrong with CEO and chairman? Jagdish, what are you trying to ask? Can I write BOD? Must be 50% of NED? Yes, okay. Dual role? No. There is no dual role. There's a separate chairman and a separate CEO. Why do you say it's a dual role? Can we use KISS mnemonic on such requirement? Knowledge, yes, you can, but NED may also be included. Okay. Did you feel that this part was easier and faster? You guys look relatively relaxed in this part as compared to the first question. Is that correct? That's because now you are getting used to the technique. This part was not easy, mind you, this part was not easy. This part was not easy, but probably because now you are repeating the technique, understanding the approach, you're getting more settled down. Right? This is the power of practice. Imagine you do at least 5 to 6 SBL questions like this. Your confidence will go up, your drafting skill will improve. You will know what to do, what not to do. This is your first question and the most difficult question. Imagine if it is your fifth question and probably not that difficult question, you would have performed much better. Right? Look at the format. I am a guy of format. Okay, look at how beautiful this is. Wow, 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 wow. Right. Last question. How much time we have? 45 minutes. Perfect. Yes, if the generally I have seen that if the case study is difficult, the examiner does adopt a lenient marking. Jitesh, do not complicate your life, my friend. Keep it simple. Flat structure, this and that. I will share this Word document tomorrow once we've done. I will share this draft answer once we are done, right? Okay, guys, let's move to the last question. Question number 1C. I'm really honestly tired because of in the morning I'm in office and now I'm with you guys. 1C. Are you there, 1C? It says prepare a confidential email for the CEO which advises on the actions which TT4U can take to ensure that the controls on the confidentiality of data operate effectively and discuss the risks and ethical issues relating to communicating the threat to the client risk investment. Investment 15 marks. Oof. And professional marks are for skepticism skills in challenging the views of the marketing director. We need to challenge his views. 3 marks. So we need to advise on the actions to take to ensure controls on safety of data and risk and ethical issues communicating the threat. Let's look at our referencing. Do we have anything in 1C? This one. Okay, so 1C, it says Exhibit 5. We have to read Exhibit 5. It is a 1:1, I think. And it says I've been spending a lot of time dealing with Rex investment, which, as you know, is a very difficult client. Okay, so Rex investment is a very difficult client, stress word. And we have to read Exhibit 5. Then we can understand this. So let's go to Exhibit 5. But can we quickly make the format first so that whatever we copy, we can copy paste under the right thing. Confidential email. Please make a confidential email. Okay, quick formatting, para 3. All right, I am done. Please check. Can you check my format and give me marks? Confidential email. Okay, oh, I need to write here as well. This, okay. To the board of directors from stub field, data confidentiality, date, opening paragraph. I copied, pasted from the requirements, and then I gave these two broad headings because the question is divided into these two broad things. Actions on data confidentiality, risk and ethical issues. Where can we use, we need to read Exhibit 5. Where can we use this line? I think here, I'll just put it here for the time being under risk and ethical issues. Let's read Exhibit 5 now. Okay, small exhibit, please start reading, and wherever you feel you can use some information, feel free to copy paste on your Word document. Time starts now. Largest client. Oops. Interesting. I'm done. You guys can have 30 more seconds, and if you are done, please type done. Okay, I will change the email is to be the CEO, right? Okay, my mistake. Please type done if you are done. Ten more seconds. So a very interesting scenario. So think that you are the board of directors. Think like that you are the CFO, right? Think maturely. What's happened? That we have received a anonymous letter, a threat to reveal confidential data of Rex investment unless we pay $20,000. And it looks like they are not bullshitting because they have shared some sample data and it's quite detailed. So it most probably looks like there's a hacking and there is a data security breach, and we have lost or the data of one of our largest client has been stolen. Confidential data of our largest client has been stolen. Now, these guys are saying that we must have the necessary controls. He says, yes, I am confident. Now, this paragraph is very important. Do you remember the skepticism marks? Skepticism. It was about we have to challenge the views of the marketing director, 3 marks. So what is this guy saying? He says, then we don't need to pursue this further. Whoever is making the threats didn't get the information from us. Of course, we have complete and full functioning controls. The one thing I'd say is that we shouldn't tell Rex about this. As you know, they are our largest client. Relations with them are difficult enough, and at present, if we tell them, it shows that we don't believe our systems are secure. It will give them a very good reason to terminate our contract. Do you agree with this approach? If you are asked to be skeptical, would you be able to challenge or disagree or share your view that, sorry, I don't agree with you? I think it, or you can ask questions. You can tell me, yes. Would you be able to challenge? So this, for example, it says that we don't need to pursue this further. Whoever is making the threat did get the information from us. Of course, we have complete functioning controls. Can you ask a question here? Can you ask a question here? He's saying, of course, we have complete and fully functioning controls. What question comes to your mind? Very good, Teresa. How do you know? How can you claim this? If he's saying we have complete and fully functioning control, he's the marketing director. So I would say, yeah, right. How do you know that? Have you done any testing? Have you done any audit? When was the last time our security review has been done? How can you be so sure? It's not his field of expertise. Yes. So I mean, you can challenge it, right? That how are you so sure that we have fully functioning and secure controls? And let him answer. Uh, and what about this? He's saying that we shouldn't tell Rex investment. They are our largest clients. Relation is difficult. If we tell, so let's copy this entire thing. Control C. I will go to the Word document. I will first paste this thing, and this portion will have to go here. Risk and ethical issues relating to. So now let's read the requirement. Advice on the actions which TT4U can take to ensure that the controls on the confidentiality of data operate effectively, and discuss the risks and ethical issues. So, can anybody tell me what are the controls which are used to secure the data? Any ideas that if I want to protect my data, if I'm a bank, you think there is appropriate control? So what are those controls? Can you recommend or give me examples of few controls which are absolutely necessary to protect your data confidentiality? Passwords, very good. Firewalls, very good. Encryption, very good. OTP, what is OTP, Sayed Ali? Very good, OTP I like. Two-factor authentication, that is OTP, yes. Firewalls, two-factor, physical control, regular security updates, one-time password. What is one-time password? System auto lock after 3 passwords, very good. Password should be case sensitive. Backup. What about, very good, Anusha. Audit logs. What is audit logs, Anusha? I would like to understand. Audit logs. Regular changing of passwords, restricted access, logs. What is logs, Tuba? What is audit trail and logs? And very good. Insurance of lost data, Amir, please. Is this a control? You always think like an accountant, Amir. I'm really worried about you. You think insurance is a control? It's not. How will it protect your data? All right. Anyways, now let's. So the first thing is we have to make sure that the password. So I have in my presentation, there is a small list theoretical list. So these are the security controls. Strong password, that's very important. That strong password management. And when we say strong password management, these are the things: alphanumeric, change regularly, one-time password. It is also called two-factor authentication, that you receive a code on your mobile, like when you use your credit card, or when you change your Facebook account or WhatsApp handset, you receive a code, right? Do not write or share passwords. System should lock down. And then you should have backups. There must be firewall. So what is a firewall? Firewall are specialized protection softwares which protects you from hacking. Okay, it's anti-hacking softwares. And there has to be a system log and audit trails. Can anybody tell me what is a system log or audit trail? That's a very important control. A system log or an audit trail is basically the system keeps a record of who is logging, which user ID has logged in, at what time, what activities that person or user ID did, and when did it log out. So if I want to investigate any fraud, if I'm the CFO, and if I want to investigate a fraud in the system, the first thing I will ask for is bring me the audit trail or the system log. We will study the system log to see who has logged in any unusual person, any unusual timing, what activity has been done, who has downloaded the data, which IP, through which IP connections are there. System logs and audit trail will help you investigate who has done the mischief. Very important. And then antivirus, segregation of duties, all these are IT security controls. In case of TT4U, I would definitely say strong password management has to be there. So if I want to, if I'm the director in TT4U, I will ask that, do we have strong password management? Do people regularly change their password? Is there a two-factor authentication in place? Is the password alpha, numeric character, whatever, blah, blah, blah? Then I would say, can we check the system log and audit trails to identify how, when, what has happened? Do we have sufficient powerful firewalls? You know, because there's a skepticism skill, I have to ask these questions. You understand? So part A is okay. You're okay with that? Do you want me to draft to one point and the rest you can draft? Okay. So let's see. You guys will help me. I need some help. Where is this? Is this one? So we will say benefits. No, where is this? Where is the 1C here? We will say that we don't need the, for whoever is making the threads didn't get the information from us. So we are writing a confidential email to the CEO in which we have to disagree with the marketing director, right? We will say that I would tend to disagree with a marketing director's views. He seems quite sure that the data leakage was not from us and that we have complete and fully functioning controls. I am not sure how he, or I would like to know on what basis he is so sure. We will need to do a thorough review of the IT security, IT/data security controls. For example, do we have strong password management procedures in place? Are the employees required to change password regularly? Thus, is there two-factor authentication OTP? Also, we can review the system log and audit trail to investigate whether the data leakage was from our side. We must also have firewalls in place. Also, backup arrangements and segregation of duties should be there. Lastly, I think we should undertake IT security audit through an external consultant so that we can have some assurance regarding our data security controls. Single line, two lines, simple, basic discussion. Because you are under immense time management pressure. But did you see? Because it's skepticism. Did I ask some questions? How many question marks you can see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 question marks. Did you see the word disagree? Yes. And did you see the keywords like passwords, OTPs, firewalls, audit trails? Yes, they're all there. Perfect answer. Questions? Yes, this is the full answer, Amina. What else you want? Sir, the question is about actions, and we have written the actions as an example, not as a main body. It's okay. It's okay. This is the full answer. Yes. I will share it, the file, tomorrow when we complete. But what I'm trying to tell you is make it simple. Otherwise, you will not be able to complete in 4 hours. Can I write more? Yes, I can write more. Can I write more? Yes. But I'm deliberately telling you to write less because I want you to complete on time. At least try this as a starter. If you are able to complete this on time, then you can write a little bit more. But if you are still not completing in time, then this is enough. Mahima, hiding from Rex investment is the second part. I have not come there. We should use you instead of we. I used we. Did I use we? No, 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 no. Let me look at the. Where is the requirement? Where is the requirement? Okay, yes, my mistake. I should not use we. I thought I was the finance director. My mistake. My mind works like the CFO. Yes, my role is external, so I should use a third person. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Now this part, risk and ethical issues. So two things, risks. So should we tell or should we not tell? Should we inform risk investment or should we not inform risk investment? So the marketing director is saying we should not inform because they are our largest client. We are not at fault. We did not leak the data, and thence we should not tell our largest clients. It's difficult already, and they will terminate our contract. So what's the requirement? Discuss the risks and ethical issues relating to communicating the threat to the client. Should we inform or should we not inform? What's your view? Yes, you can, Amir. I think we should inform. Well, what's the pros and cons? So if we don't inform, what's the pros and cons? If we don't inform, then maybe we will retain that client. They will remain our client, but it's unethical. And what if the client finds out? Then they will sue us. Litigation, penalties, reputational. And if we inform them, then there's a chance that we might still lose the client. However, if we inform them, it will be more ethical, or maybe the client will appreciate that we inform them, and then we can work together to identify and fix the problem. It's more about, so I think the disadvantages are more than the advantages, right? So we have to tell them. I think maximum we will lose revenue, but if we don't tell them, it's unethical. The client may sue us that why did you not inform us? Reputational loss, so many things. So do you agree with marketing director's view? Again, you have to show some skepticism skill here. So this guy is saying we will say I will disagree with marketing director because whatever he is suggesting, it seems unethical. If it is client's data, it's a leakage of client confidential data, then the client needs to know. It doesn't matter from where the data was leaked. Maybe it was leaked from the client side. I don't know, but at least we have to tell them so that we can try and control the damage. And do you remember Myobit? Do you remember Myobit? Myobit. There's something there on ethical and data focus. And then if you want to score extra marks, you can link two exhibits. So you can say that even, if you are planning to adopt Myobit, there is it requires us to be ethical, which means that we have to be fair, honest, transparent, and we have to be data focused, like tight security. If you link this exhibit with that answer, you will get extra 1 or 2 marks, because the examiner loves when students they connect more than one exhibits. When I repeat, the examiner really loves when students they try to connect two exhibits together in the answer. It shows to the examiner that you have read the case, you understand, and you are building your case by connecting two exhibits. So try and develop this skill of connecting two exhibits. That is why I had mentioned here that I will keep this in mind. So if you go back and refer to the Myobit approach, examiner will give you 2 extra marks. Wait a second, guys. Okay, guys. So you think today's session, I felt that your confidence was much higher as compared to yesterday. Yesterday was the first day of your practice. So you were kind of absorbing so much. Today was the second day. I distinctly felt you guys were more relaxed, more confident, and more participating. Tomorrow, inshallah, you will be 2 steps more better. So now you understand the power of practice. Yes, no? Yeah. Now, do you think that this approach, this practice thing, let me this solving this question like this, discussing the exhibits, copy pasting, referencing, drafting. Do you think it's helpful to you from your exam point of view? Did you learn a lot? It's not about syllabus or knowledge. You will see that I am not talking about knowledge or content or syllabus or technical skill. I'm just focusing on linking, drafting, common sense logics. Think like a, think like a, think like a CFO. That's the mindset which I want you to have when you enter the exam hall. You feel like a CFO and you talk and you help like a CFO. Right. So what I want is, so if you feel that this kind of approach is helping you, uh, so just as a reminder that right after we finish our webinar, which is tomorrow is the last day, I will be starting my mock-based practice classes from 17th of Feb. It will be exactly like this. In fact, more detailed because in the webinar, I have some time constraints. They do not allow me to give more hours, right? But in the webinar, in my own mock classes, I have no time limitation. So we will be like doing 4 or maybe 5 SBL questions other than this in the same manner. After that, 2 mocks. I will take 2 mocks, and out of that, I will check 1 mock with feedback. So please, guys, if you feel that this kind of session was helpful for you, so please enroll in the mock based. I honestly feel that it will really help you. Okay, if you're interested in details, I think the price is $90 for all of this thing. And for students who are based in Pakistan, the local currency is rupees, Pakistan rupees 12,000. Right? For details, please message on this number because we will close the admission soon. That's the detail and that's the schedule of the classes. It will be held 8 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. How many hours? 8, 9, 10, 11. 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours per day. And that's the schedule. Right, guys? So, do I have any questions before I sign off? Yes, so this time, the webinar is for 4 days. Instead of 5 days, I don't know, it's ACCA Pakistan's decision for all subject. They reduced the webinar to 4 days because, I don't know why. And I feel it's not sufficient, but anyways. Tomorrow is the last day, okay? So tomorrow we will do the remaining question, which I think is question number 2. Is it question number 2? I think we did question number 1. Yeah, tomorrow we'll do this in the first half, and in the second half we will then talk about some important topics, articles, syllabus change, the study plan, and all those things. And I will take lots of questions. Right, guys? So if you guys are okay, we can sign off. I will see you guys tomorrow, yeah? All right, guys. So please take good care, and I will see you all tomorrow. Good night.